before?
Spanish one.
Who's waiting?
Some people.
Oh, nice.
I was like, oh, so is it like everyone rocks up
Keep them there and preview of the.
goes for a long run until like 12 and then leaves at 4. And like there's no pressure there. So I mean, it's unbelievable.
There's the intro.
Let me go.
In August, it's like, August. I was like, oh, how come? Business is
Good.
sort of work.
It's
It's too hot, so you just come in and do like 10 hours in the morning.
This is working.
1 1 2 2.
That's it. It's
great, isn't it?
the whole month. He's like, yeah, it's just the culture. It's nobody books that off. You just mute it around.
The mic.
But they are.
Yeah, you use this one and you speak out where they
Do you think? I can just move. Do you think I should do the intro with this one, and then the speaker just takes this one each time? Okay.
June, August. That's the worst. Yeah, we were looking at timelines. It's quite a lot of people in now.
1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2. How are we doing?
What kind of work do you do?
People at start. Oh, nice.
Mostly development, and I'm getting into design as well.
I used to. I don't anymore.
I knew you could. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I could. I was never trained in it, and because I think the main difference. Well, one of the main things in design is like kind of your taste.
Yeah. That's what I like
But
about it.
I think you can. Well, I thought I had decent taste, but I'm out of practice and not enough hours. So it would take me so long to get to something that I thought was good.
Yeah, that would have. Yeah, I saw
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I've come to encourage everyone to sit
Takes it
down.
off. So we work with a designer.
So we're gonna kick off.
Yeah.
Guys, we've got lots to get through tonight. So
Yeah. No, that's interesting. And then I kind of like stumbled into this guy called Archie, who was starting a brand agency. And literally in the past like 6 months to a year or so, I've almost done like every project with him. So it's kind of like growing because he does the design and brand.
any comments?
He has a designer called Lily, who's like
Flow outage.
incredible brand designer, not
But we're about to start.
system designer. So she'll do something wacky, and I'll be like, oh, fuck. So like glass everywhere, like. So I'm just like, I have to like tune it back in. Yeah. Like some of the projects we've done recently look really, really cool.
We are about to
But
start.
they're just like difficult to build sometimes. Yeah. We'll see how yeah, I'll do the first bit, the intro.
Right, so we're about to start. So please find a seat. Have you got something to drink? Yeah, there's that
Yep.
machine there. Jimmy's,
You should just be able to unplug it and plug it back in. The only thing you'd want to think about is whether you want to mirror your screen or like have two screens, but it's probably easier just to mirror.
Can you hear me? Yeah, loud and clear. Nice. Oh, we're ready. Okay. Welcome, everyone. October. We're on a bit of a streak. We've gone just about every month this year, without fail. We had the watch party last month. Great to see some familiar faces, but we've got a whole bunch of new faces, which is always exciting, including special guests from Bulgaria, especially for our event. So, and maybe some sightseeing in London while you're here. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, well, it's great you've been mingling and getting to know each other. There'll be plenty of opportunity also afterwards. You'll see on the agenda, the finale is the pub. But before then, we've got a great lineup of speakers tonight. Liam from Make Build and Chris from gigglingPheasant in New Zealand. But we'll get into that more in a bit. We are live streaming tonight, and there might be a few viewers on the stream. I'm just going to refresh this. How do I refresh?
Just do Command R if you want.
Command
R.
Command R.
Oh, there we go.
Because I had an extra slide.
Oh,
There we go. Now I want to go back to full screen.
there we go.
There we go. Now, I'm wearing a special hat tonight, and this means nothing to anybody but me. But I'm just humour me, okay? Happy birthday, Amiga. That's my computer that my dear mother, who just passed away 2 weeks ago in Australia, she gave me 40 years ago. And just coincidentally, just before that happened, I was in Silicon Valley at the Computer History Museum where I met one of the lead engineers on the Commodore Amiga project. And then last weekend, partly in my mother's honour, I went across to Germany for the European 40th birthday event, and I met another one of the lead engineers. And I was able to personally thank these people for creating this machine that had a soul that got into my blood, that I just, yeah, it's an addiction, I'm sorry. But as you can see, 1986, look at those graphics. I mean, seriously. Everything else was green screen and Martin. Not very far. Yeah, it's a notoriously difficult game. So, yeah, there are some cheat codes. And these days, could probably write a GPT script with an Adreno to press the key at the right time and get through it. But anyway, enough of that. If you're interested in learning more about the Amiga and whether it can run Webflow, then let's have a chat at the pub afterwards. Right. We're going to start. This is the agenda tonight. We've got some quick announcements, a roundup of what's been happening with our resident co-organiser, Jimmy. There he is. While I think of it, because I might forget this, you guys all have to pay attention tonight because we have prizes. So there's going to be a pop quiz at the end, and maybe 3 bucket hats with stickers and pens to give away. So pay attention. We've got Liam from Make Build, presentation on building a successful design system. Maybe 3 design systems, we'll see. And then Chris's journey with epic maps. So what's all that about? Wait and see. And then at the end, we'll, if you're up for it, there's a pub just down the road, so I shall be there. We have some sponsors. I'd like to thank Beyond. That's the flexible workspace that we're in. My company has an office just downstairs. And also my company, Design by Structure, building distinctive brands. In fact, Beyond have a special exclusive offer, 24-hour access to this workspace, excellent Wi-Fi, beer on tap from 3 p.m, self-service, barista Tuesday to Thursday, free coffee, all for £99 per month. So just for the first 3 months, and then it's £1 million a month. But it doesn't come by that much. But yeah, it's a good deal. So if you're interested, let me know. Announcements. If anyone's got any announcements at this point that they'd like to make, if they're looking for work, if you're about to hire, I don't know, our guest from Bulgaria, do you want to do a quick what your services are?
Yeah.
And this is for the audience at home as well.
Should I stand up?
It's up to you. You can see
Oh,
here,
okay. Well, yeah, I'm coming from Bulgaria. It's very hospitable here. Thank you. And I do mostly development in Web4. And lately I've been doing design and helping clients and also getting into more modular systems with the components in Web4 and helping marketing teams. So yeah, mostly development in Web4 and doing system with components. It's really been the most work I've been doing in the past year. So yeah.
And are you looking for clients?
Yeah, if anybody.
How do they contact you?
Okay, yeah. You can find me. You can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Stefan Velikov. And I run a solo agency. I got a studio. And you can message me, and if you want to upsell to your clients like component systems in Web4, yeah, I think that's the big move for marketers in big companies. So, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Stefan. That's great. Nice one. And anyone else? Yeah, something down the back here. Here we go.
Hi, I'll stand up. Hi, my name is Audrey. I'm originally from Canada. I'm relatively new to London. I have a solo studio, Ace Studio. The website's acestudiohouse.com. But basically, I do both design and development with, Figma, FinSuite, develop with, best practices and all of that. So if ever you want a partner, I'm a reliable one, and I am looking for projects at the moment. I'm wrapping some up, so I'm free for the next few months and well, and beyond. And ongoing projects or partnerships, I'm open to that as well, with referral fees for those who have too much on their plates and want to pass it along. So.
And how do we contact you?
You can go to my website, astudiohouse.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Audrey Gourdji, Gourdji. Thank you. Or come up to me after.
Yeah. Thank you, Audrey. That's really great. Nice one. So, yeah, we don't have any conferences or flow fests or anything else to announce at this point. If you want to scan this QR code, this is something we're just starting to build out, some community resources, and this will hopefully evolve into a website at some point when Jimmy's going to volunteer to do something, maybe. Or, but yeah, this is at the moment just an Airtable, and you've got online resources, YouTubers, thought leaders, libraries. I mean, there's lots of these things around, but we're trying to keep this current and valuable for our community here. So other meetups, Figma events, all sorts of things you might find on there over time. Right, on to the October roundup. So we've got Jimmy, who's going to take us through what a month it's been. Thank you, Jimmy.
No worries. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to whiz through this. We've got a little bit of a showcase as well, which we've done, which is going to be fun. New sort of format. But basically, just going to go through a couple of updates that we've had, some news, and just a few cool things that I've found very quickly. It's just a very, October roundup. Nice. So in terms of updates, we had an updated navigation. It changed a little bit, confused me for about a minute and a half, and then I was like, okay, this is actually good. If anyone's noticed, the unpublished collections now kind of like separated out, making it nice and very, very clear. And then there's been a slight difference to the publishing format and where the kind of breakpoints and stuff are as well. This is massive, I think, for anyone who's creating Webflow templates. They massively upgraded the Webflow template marketplace, so you now get 95% commission instead of, I think it was about 50 before. And you can sell through kind of like links, so you can, I can't remember what they call them, like fulfillment links, that's the one, thanks Dan. So you could have it on your website and sell through there, as a lot of people are trying to promote their templates. I think this is mainly to compete with Framer, because their template marketplace is smashing it, and there's lots of people posting on Twitter and stuff about how they're making 5-10 grand a month just from templates. So I think that's probably why they're doing this, and I think it's going to be welcomed a lot by people who are already creating them. Form enhancements. So we had some interesting form enhancements, which I got to peek into, but then has since been rolled back. Not sure why it's been rolled back. Hopefully it's going to come back soon. But it was quite cool. So a lot of the form settings you can now control on a per form basis. So if you have a certain form that only like marketing needs to see or customer support needs to see, it can just go to them specifically. And there was also kind of like a filtered spam inbox as well. So you could see the spam submissions you were getting and kind of see if there was any ones that were like slipping through the cracks. Comment-only links. I think this is going to be super helpful as well, like getting feedback from your clients. So you can now get a link you can send to your clients and get reviewers. And it also tells you what system they're looking on. So if they're looking on mobile, if they're looking on like browser and what browser they're using, you'll be able to see that right in the designer. So that should be super helpful for debugging. New GSAP features went live. We heard about this at conference, but they've gone live now, which I believe it's reduced motion, so for accessibility, and also breakpoints as well. So you can kind of trigger stuff on different breakpoints and select which pages it runs on, which is good for performance. Then we did, unfortunately, in the last couple of days, have a Webflow outage. I think kind of realized half the internet went down, so it's maybe not Webflow's fault massively, but I think it is a bit of bad timing considering what happened in the past couple of months. Did it affect anyone here? I'm guessing it's going to affect most people. Yeah, kind of frustrated. I know half the internet went down as well, so maybe not a lot we could do, but yeah, just kind of.
Does anyone know if there's been any incident report from Webflow at this point, or if there's a definite connection with the AWS outage? No. It was AWS related, yeah. It'll be interesting to see in the coming days what the incident report on this comes up with.
See what happens. Yeah, that was worth knowing. And then just a couple cool things that I've noticed, and maybe some quick tips. If you're using code components in Webflow, I saw this on X the other day. This guy's created a kind of a repo on GitHub that you can go and fork if you like, and then try that out. But basically, it allows you to use Claude code with Webflow components and like helps Claude understand what's going on and what specifically to do for that. So that could be super useful if you're like building stuff out. Definitely check that out.
So it's using MCP.
So yeah, I think what it does, it has instructions in there for Claude to understand the MCP, how it works, what it should do around it, and it should help you build code components super easily, supposedly. Has anyone used code components yet? Not yet.
What do they do, Jimmy?
So I think it's essentially like a component that you can inject code in it and kind of host it on GitHub as well. So like developers can be managing that specific component without you having to mess around with that inside of Webflow.
So it probably connects in with Webflow Cloud, the new...
It is, it's DevLink related, I'm pretty sure, and in that world.
Well, hopefully we can get someone to demo it to us at some point, if anyone's up for it in the future. Yeah.
For sure, I'd love to see that, to be fair. I've fiddled around with it, but I haven't gone too deep into it. And then lastly, very quick tip that I've been really loving over the past month from the guys at Osmo is using a software called bunny.net. So a lot of the times we have clients who want like big videos and like really high quality, and you get it back and it's like 2 gigabytes. You're like, what the heck? What am I supposed to do with this? But there's just program called bunny.net, which we like to use now. And inside of Osmo, if you use it, they have like a really easy, like clonable, you can copy and paste out for video components. And essentially it allows you to do a few things. Number one, it's super cheap. Like, so I always have to struggle to convince clients to like sign up to Vimeo so we can have like high quality videos there and stuff. But this is insanely cheap. Like you can do like a couple of gigabytes and it costs you like $1 a month. And it feels like very reliable as well. And also they have an option, like a clonable you can get from Osmo as well, but you probably can figure it out to do it outside of that. A streaming option, which is similar to like YouTube. So, you know, when you load a YouTube video and it kind of loads in a slightly lower quality first, so it loads really quickly, and then it kind of increases as it goes. You get a streaming option with this as well. So the videos can load really, really quickly, and it's worked really well for a couple of client sites we've worked on. I'm not sure if he's here yet, but yeah, me and Mohammed have done a few of these recently, and it's worked really well. So yeah, recommend checking that out, and check out Ilya's videos on it as well, because they're really, really helpful. Yeah. Showcase. So this is a slightly new format, but essentially what I'm going to do, I'm going to really dob these people in now. But what I think we should do, I'm going to show the website, and then if you want to get up and speak about it for like maximum 30 seconds, then it'd be really cool just to see what you enjoyed about it, what the challenges were, and I'll just kind of scroll through it as we go, if that makes sense. For everyone who submitted, are you up for that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Sure. You got no choice, so. Cool. So the first one was Groundswell by Stefan, our resident guest. Do you want to stand up, do 30 seconds about what this project is about?
For sure. So yeah, this was a Webflow build that I came on in, and it was really bad. It was not client first, it was div 1052. It was really bad. I rebuilt everything in client first, and the style didn't look like this. I restyled it, and pretty much everything on the back end is component based, and it can be edited. So here the text can be edited. I don't have the read-only link, but everything is components, and pretty much now the clients, they do their marketing pages and everything. Like if they have new solution pages, they add it into a page template, and they add the components and change the content, the images, the icons, like pretty much the whole website is components. And yeah, I just handed it over to them, and they're managing it now. If they need new components, I help them out. So yeah, that's something that I've been getting into with clients, and yeah, that's
Time up.
interesting.
Perfect, lovely. I really like this one. Really good B2B example. I also noticed this down as well. This CMS, the compare. It's a nice little growth tactic, SEO growth tactic, if anyone's into that. Yeah, next one, Ollie, for Mob. Chuck that across. No, you could stay there if you want. Well, it's up to you. I can see if
I'll stand here. Okay, cool. Yeah. So this one was a very, very quick turnaround, and the guy running the project was an animator, and he was very adept with After Effects and Lottie, and so we had a very tight turnaround to basically create some really nice visuals for both the product hero and also the homepage hero as well, which I don't know if people have used like the native Lottie element or Rive element or Spline element that comes inside Webflow, but you tend to run into a few hiccups after about 20 minutes. Yeah. So we ended up having to just go custom in terms of implementation, and there was a lot of like late nights optimizing the animations to make sure that they worked on crap signal on mobile, but also looked really, really great on desktop as well. And also a massive shout out to Jack, who is the animator, who just like smashed these out in record time, really. So yeah,
it looks awesome, interactive as well. I love
that's about it. Yeah.
That's really cool. Next one, another Ollie, Be More Fox. Yeah, get it out. I'm going to refresh this one because it was the load-in animation. That was really nice.
Yeah. So the idea of this design was, this project was one pager, budget was small, and the timeline was a quick turnaround as well.
The ones we love.
As always, they want it for nothing, they want it quick. But the main thing that they wanted to communicate, being an ethical branding agency, was to humanize the kind of digital experience. So the whole kind of purpose of this was to break that sort of strict grid layout that we normally see with web design, like you kind of saw in the hero section, have things kind of off-center, have things interact with the words, like the animation that kind of comes across and reveals that title of Stop Being Invisible. It kind of plays on the words. So it was kind of like humanize it, get out of the grids, be a bit irregular, not so polished and perfect. But it was a good project for me. It was a big win. It was a first one for an agency, and then I've gone on to work with them on quite a few more projects since. So it was cheap, it was quick, but it was a very successful one for myself. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Give it to Chris. Give it to Chris. Lovely stuff. And then last but not least, Isabel.
Hi.
This one was really cool. I'll refresh this one as well.
Thank you. Yeah, so actually my clients are a bit special and maybe a bit different from most of yours. They're artists or they're art galleries. So it's all about a lot of visual assets. And for this one, for Eric Sauvage, it's mostly pictures, but over 1,000 of them, and videos, and including a page. So the whole layout is really, really minimal. Like the ratios of his pictures are very precise, and he's got one ratio for landscapes, one ratio for portrait. And when you click on each picture, you open a slideshow, which is technically a swiper, with all the pictures related to the theory. So the first challenge was obviously like basically to upload all those pictures. So I have a system where I put everything in folders, and then everything gets uploaded to Amazon S3, and then it goes down, and it's a CSV, and it gets uploaded to Webflow with the structure of the CMS. And then for videos, actually, I use S3, Amazon plus Amazon CloudFront, because it's very cheap also for the clients. They don't want, indeed, like to pay Vimeo Premium just to have their videos without any branding. And so yes, this is the most minimal project I've done, for sure. But it was actually nice to just focus on moving images and images.
Really cool. Love it. Really good.
Really good.
Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I thought that was really fun. Hopefully we'll carry on doing it. I like to see, because everyone comes in and it's really cool to see everyone's work. Yeah, and next we'll move on. Do you want to come
Yeah.
to the next bit? Cool.
I guess
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy. That was really good. I think we've got Liam up next. Do you want to come and plug in? It'll take a. Let's see.
Here you go as well.
Thank you very much.
So
It's like I'm being crowned.
hopefully this just works.
Is that HDMI?
Yeah, do you need an adapter?
No, we're good. I did think of that on the way, actually.
Yeah, well, I've got one down there. It's all good.
Cool.
Yeah, so we've got Liam from Make Build, just getting set up. We'll probably hear a bit about Make Build, but you know, celebrities within the world of Webflow. We've got Dad here.
Why is this not mirroring, aren't they?
It's up on the screen.
I need to do I need my notes.
Oh, as
Jeez.
well. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, if you do extend it.
There you go. Sweet. Yeah, we're good.
See how it goes. Just while
I see my cursor. Okay.
Liam's getting set up, can we get a word
light
from
is
Dan
really-
on that's a good question. How was New York? In 2 sentences.
Really good. Great pizza.
Hey, nice. Okay. Well, maybe we can get a roundup on some New York things if there's time at the end. Yeah, or otherwise at the pub. Excellent. Nice one. You all set?
Cool, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Liam. Take
good.
it away.
Everyone. Thank you for having me, first of all. I'm really looking forward to talking about some design system stuff, and hopefully some of you guys will find it a bit interesting as well. I'm going to be sharing some stories, practical tips, and hopefully there's some stuff that you can take away, use on your own projects. So first of all, who am I? I think I know some of you guys. Been to a few of these before. But I'm Liam. I'm a designer, developer, and Webflow project lead at MakeBuild. And I live out in the east of England with my fiance and our Labrador McAllister. And if you do know me, he's a big part of my. I'm one of those people that loves to talk about their dog and stuff. So you'll see him. You'll see him quite a bit. When I'm not working, I'm in the countryside or collecting records, tinkering with computers, that sort of stuff, and like nerd stuff. And I've spent the last sort of decade in the design and development industry. I started off as a print designer, and then went into more of a web role, and then got interested in development, and then ended up as more of a dev, but a bit of both. But it was this sort of hybrid background that led me into design systems, and now a huge part of my role is building design systems and Webflow component systems for in-house marketing teams to allow them to build their websites themselves, essentially. The bulk of it, we still do the really important stuff, but they do the marketing stuff. So before we dive in, I was just going to get a quick show of hands. Who works with design systems on a daily basis, whether that's clients or in-house? Quite a few, which is good. For those who maybe aren't as familiar with design systems, we'll just cover that really quickly. So I asked ChatGPT, because I did. So a design system is a comprehensive set of guidelines, standards, and reusable components that help teams create consistent and efficient websites and products. Acts as a single source of truth for designers and developers, ensuring that user interfaces are uniform and align with the brand's identity. I think that's pretty good. People tend to think of design systems more as a design thing because of the name, but in Webflow, this looks like a set of principles, variables, styles, components, all coming together to make a toolkit for marketers and developers to create nice-looking websites. So the first ingredient I want to share tonight was collaboration. And this stems off of one of the most successful projects I've had the pleasure to work on, which is Typeform.com. So Typeform collaborated with MakeBuild and Webflow to migrate from their existing site to Webflow. And this was a migration that involved 4,000 pages-ish. Ton of integrations, a couple of locales. So it was a really big migration. It went down without too much of a hitch. No downtime, SEO improvement, some really good stats, which I'll share a little bit later. But the thing that stood out the most was the collaboration between all of the parties involved, all of Typeform's agencies, the Webflow team, our team, all working together to build something really cool. So I wanted to go back to the start of the project and share some stories about how we encouraged collaboration and how that collaboration really paid off. So when Typeform came to us, they had the sort of typical story of a marketing department at the moment. They had an overly complicated tech stack, an outdated CMS, and a heavy reliance on developers. So even basic requests went into a development pile and took away resources from the product. So what we did, this is a quote from Typeform. Their site couldn't keep up with their ambitions. So the marketing team felt locked out from their site, and they had a team of world-class designers and copywriters that just felt restricted by their uncreative tools. So we kicked off a project in the Make Build way, which is a ton of sticky notes, Sharpies, pictures on the wall, an in-house workshop with both teams all in one room. The session lasted about a day, and we really dove into the current platform, the frustrations they were facing, and what they thought a good migration, or we all thought a good migration would look like. And the outcome of that was 3 goals: modernize the tech stack, give back control to the marketing team, and unlock the creative talent at Typeform. As design system lead on the project, my sort of focus was the last 2. I left the modernize the tech stack to Dan and let him do all the techie stuff, and I just worked on the pretty stuff. So I set out on a mission to understand the current creative challenges and how we could unlock some of that talent. And to do this, we spent time with marketers, developers, their current developers who were from the product but working on the site, copywriters, anybody that we could get our hands on, and started mapping out some of their current workflows to understand how we could improve. And this is what their previous workflow looked like. So marketing and the design team would work on a project. Marketing would have this really good idea. The design team would try and work with the tools that they had available to deliver that, and it would go into a development pile. That development pile was shared with the product, so typically things would get prioritized, and eventually they would launch. As you can imagine, this process can be lengthy, and is sort of inspiring for marketing and creative people. They want to get things out, they want to react to things in the market, and that lengthy process is not ideal. But our vision was a little bit different. We wanted to give them the tools they needed, so we proposed a modular component system of drag and drop blocks that the designers and the developers could use the designers and the copywriters and the marketers, could use to create their own pages. And these blocks would be simple enough to self-serve. Nobody at Typeform at the time knew how to use Webflow, so they needed to be sort of friendly for beginners, but flexible enough to allow for some creativity. So over the next several months, we continued the collaboration, and we built an extensive design system that spanned over Figma and Webflow, and everything went good. The migration went good. They're still really happy with the platform, and we're still working with them. So like I mentioned, there were some good stats. There was 0% downtime, a 98% improvement in technical SEO score, and the one that really pleased me was the 3 hours to 3 days. So before, it would take them 3 days to get an idea developed. Now it's taken them 3 hours, and it was the creative people, it was the marketers doing it themselves. They were building things on the fly, and that was really cool. It's really cool the first day when you go into a project and there's like 10 people in there, all using blocks that you built. It's daunting, but it's cool. So that was a good project. It was all good. An example of just how good the system landed, a couple of weeks after we launched the project in January, they came to us and said, we want to do a Valentine's campaign. They only had a couple of weeks to get it over the line, but thanks to the design system, flexible blocks, they did a lot of it themselves, and it launched on time. They had a nice custom nav, they had a landing page, and it sort of all married together in a LinkedIn campaign, and it went down really well. And I think I speak for Typeform when this was the sort of oh shit moment that we could really react to things and do things really well. So that's collaboration, and it all paid off. But why is collaboration so important? The second ingredient is understanding. And these two are linked because you have to collaborate and work with your clients to understand what they need. So back in September, Dan was preparing for his Webflow Conf talk, and he dropped me a message in Slack asking one tip, so I thought I was on the hook. My tip was build for your client, not yourself. Dan replied, fire emoji, this is gold. Didn't get on the stage, but I thought I'd steal it back and have a dig at Dan. But I wanted to share another success story with you just to show how important the understanding part of that ingredient is. So earlier this year, we were approached by Sky to work with their Sky CSG team, which is an internal resource. And they make educational material for the Sky engineers, the Sky customer service agents, to educate them and keep them up to date on all of Sky's new products and services. But unlike Typeform, Sky already had a team of Webflow developers, some really talented people, and they'd built over 100 sites already in their workspace. So we didn't need to hold their hand or anything. The problem that Sky faced was a little bit different. They had a comprehensive design system for Sky.com that was built for a React front end, but they had no access to that in Webflow. So we needed to really help them bring all of those microsites that they built together in a sort of package that they could then manage a bit more. So I've just lost where I was then. All over. Yeah, so they didn't have any reusable components. They didn't have a design system on Webflow. So all of these sort of over 100 microsites that they'd built were sort of disconnected. The brand had evolved after they'd built some of these sites, so they were a bit left behind. And they were really hard to manage. So just like Typeform, we went to Sky HQ, which was a fun day out. And we kicked off the project by meeting the team in person. We met the key stakeholders. We found out their perspectives on what they wanted the project to be and the challenges that they faced. And together we established some targets. And those targets were speed up development time, improve brand consistency, and make a huge library of sites maintainable. Now we've got to try and find the cursor. There we go. Cool. So to achieve this, we set out to create a Webflow shared library that could be plugged into new and existing sites to act as a single source of truth. And during the 6-week sprint, we worked to translate the Sky.com design system into a Webflow shared library that could create a one-to-one brand experience across their internal and external experiences. As you can see, this wasn't a library of drag and drop blocks. It was a powerful set of classes, variables, and components that could be reused by experienced designers and developers to create these in-house microsites and save them time having to recreate the same patterns over and over and over again. Just like Typeform, though, we put in the time to really understand our client. We went through a lot of the same discovery process, but the end result was completely different. If you look at the two systems, there's a lot of differences, and how we used the Webflow platform was a little bit different. So the Typeform system is essentially a drag and drop experience designed for marketers in build mode. We use section components fleshed out with really obvious starting points. Most of the things that you need are already in the component, and you turn things off, turn things on, add in your text. We use slots sparingly. We love slots, but they can be a bit confusing for people that are new to Webflow. So we use them to extend lists, or we use like a media slot on a lot of components, so they can drop in a video or an image or a lottie or something. And we use component variants quite a bit to create a really sort of user-friendly and designer-friendly experience. So there's drop-downs. It's super easy to understand. There's little room for error. But on the other hand, on the design system that we created for Sky, it was a little bit more atomic. We created some really powerful components like loading spinners, modals, tooltips, etc. And this was to save developers time, not marketers. So we used a lot of attribute-based styling for sort of greater flexibility. We used a lot of slots to encourage sort of modular building. And we created more complex components that were a bit harder to use, a bit more sort of configuration. But once they were configured, they were great. Now imagine if we didn't do this groundwork with the clients to figure out what they actually needed. Just for clarification, these aren't real Slack messages. I can see Dan like, oh. If we just rolled out like a cookie cutter solution for all of our clients, we could have got some messages like this. The Sky team could have ended up with a marketer first system that felt restrictive and didn't really give them what they needed. And the Typeform team could have been left with a really complex system that landed them in the same position they were in before. They needed developers to build things. And I think this is one of the biggest challenges when building design systems or even sites for our clients. You really need to understand what they need, because you can deliver something that is completely not what they need. It still can be brilliant work, but just not quite right. So the third ingredient that I would speak to you about tonight is iteration, because design systems are great, just like websites, but they're never quite finished. You can do all the collaboration, you can understand your client down to the ground, but the first attempt might not always fit the bill, and also companies change, pivot, and things move on. So that means once the project is done, we don't just hand off the keys and ride off into the sunset. Instead, we stick around and continue to work with our clients to help them realize the full potential of their design system.
Love it.
So how do we iterate successfully? Well, first, we have to prepare for this iteration, and that happens during the discovery and the production phase of the project. We listen to our clients to fully understand their pain points, but we also listen to what they want to do in the future and where the company might be heading. Technology changes, companies grow, companies pivot, etc. So we need to be prepared for that. And to prepare for this change, it's important that we build a design system that is built on solid foundations and really organized, so that future changes can be minutes, hours, maybe a day, and not weeks. So how do you build a design system capable of change at pace? There's just two really quick ways. Obviously, there's lots of ways, but two different quick little ways that you can do that. This is Typeform's homepage, and it looks like it's probably a couple of components, but the first tip is to use an atomic approach to components. So this could be 2 components, but when we break it down, it's actually a ton. An atomic approach to components is basically using components within components within components, and we refer to this as atoms and molecules in-house. And what that looks like is these are sort of atom components. So we've got things like menu item, menu items, buttons, these little logo blocks, rich text, things like that, images. And we put those together to make what we call molecules, which is things like nav bars, action bars, the logo bar at the bottom. And these all come together to make our section components. And we do this because we can reuse elements across the whole site. So when a client needs to rebrand or change the look and feel, we can change a few different components, and it can really affect many components on the site. So some of the buttons and the sort of logo blocks on this site, there might be thousands of instances over tens of components. The second way is a solid variable setup, which is variables have been around for a while now in Webflow, but they've been around for a long time in the sort of CSS space, and particularly in Figma and with designers. So variables can be super good for managing sites and implementing change. So for those who aren't familiar with a sort of variable setup with primitives and tokens, this is a typical setup. We have primitives on the left, which is our sort of color palette. So we've gone from a numeric scale of 25 to 1,000, and that represents the different shades. And then we have a token on the right-hand side, which we give to a particular property, like text color. And this really helps because we feed our primitives into our tokens. And then if a client turns around one day and says the secondary text color needs to change, we can use this token across hundreds of different styles, and we can just change it in one place, which is the token. If a client decides that they want to darken their secondary text a little bit, we just change the primitive. We don't have to go to all of those different styles that we've used the sort of root hex code on and change those individually. So it can be really useful when the client does a rebrand or needs to make some changes. So they're the ways that we prepare for iteration, but how can you create an environment to encourage it? To create an environment that encourages iteration, you need to create some feedback loops. One of my favorite ways to create feedback loops is something that we do with our clients called office hours. And during these sessions, we invite our clients' team to join a live call where we answer questions, gather feedback. We do a few live demos to answer any questions that we can answer on the call. And these calls give us valuable insights that we can feed back into our feedback loops to maintain an ever-improving system. And this is how one of those feedback loops sort of looks. We host a session or a regular check-in to identify pain points and challenges within the system. We then address these in two ways. We can upskill our clients with sort of Loom videos explaining them how to do things or how things work. We can provide documentation, or we can upgrade the system with new components or improving existing ones. Then our clients go away and they use it a little bit more, and then we start the process again. We host a session, we host a check-in with them, and we find out how things are going, and it's constantly evolving. So to sum up, these are our 3 ingredients. Collaboration, create an environment for collaboration, and where possible, meet your clients in person. It really helps to build that relationship. And spend time uncovering their pain points. Understanding, ditch the cookie cutter approach and take time to truly understand what your clients need and shape a solution to cater to them. And finally, prepare for change with a solid foundations and harbor an environment for iteration by sticking around and creating feedback loops with your clients. Thank you everybody for listening. I appreciate all your attention. I'm not sure if there's room for questions.
Yeah,
but
no, absolutely.
If not, if you want to chat design systems or get me to look at something you're doing for a second opinion, you can scan the code and book like a little call over lunchtime, and we can shoot the shit.
Excellent. I've got to say thank you very much, Liam. That was a masterclass in explaining complex things in just easy to digest ways. A summary of, I guess, learnings. We've been going through the same process.
Yeah.
And bringing it all together. And having those 2 different approaches. I wish we had a way of having a crystal ball to understand what the client's actually going to do at the end of the project, where we create a system and then they don't use it.
Yeah.
Or we don't create enough system and when we should have. So that's a dilemma. How do you solve that dilemma? That collaborative bit at the beginning.
Yeah. I think this is what MakeBuild are really good at, is that discovery part of the process, getting everybody in a room, which helps.
The post-it notes.
Yeah, the post-it notes, Sharpie pens, nice lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that process though, the startup process.
Any questions from the audience? Martin? Hang on, I'll come around this way.
Cheers. Yeah, it's just a slightly technical one, really. I noticed when you brought up the navigation, it looks like you're using like components for each individual navigation item. Is that right? Because I'm finding I've just started using slots quite extensively, similar to what you've done, but I continually run into the problem where the navigation just sits in a single header component, but it looks like you're being a lot more granular with it. Is that right?
Yeah, it changes depending on the style of the navigation. We try to break everything down to components as much as possible so that we sort of minimize the risk of one particular item going off. So in that example, each item is a component. Right. And then what we do, if it's a big drop down, which can be sometimes tricky to edit, we make the inside of the drop down another component, which then we can drop on another page and use that to edit the actual drop down section.
Cool.
But yeah, slots can be tricky as well because you can't change the tag of a slot to anything. So sometimes with lists it can be not as optimal because it's a div within divs instead of the UL or OL tag.
Cool. Thank you.
I hope that answered your question.
Any other questions? Yep, we got one from Jimmy.
Cool.
Thank you for that, Liam. That's really cool. How long do you guys typically spend in discovery in comparison to like building out the system and then iterating?
Yeah, the Typeform one was quite a lot because we were migrating so much, so we had to spend a lot of time. Dan gave me like the masterclass in Sheets over the Typeform start of the project. But yeah, it's super important, with migration, but 2 with design systems. You have to understand who's going to be using it, what they expect from it. It sort of helps if they've already got a system because they can tell you what they hate about it. They can tell you what they love about it. Yeah, I don't think you can spend too much time. It's great. If the more time you've got, the better to really understand. I think it's typically somewhere that some people might cut time back to help the budget. But it can pay off in the long run, especially if it's a long-term relationship.
Good stuff. I think we need to keep moving, but
Yeah.
thanks again, Liam.
Shall we just unplug?
Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Amazing.
In the bush.
See how that goes. Right, so coming up next, we've got Chris joining us. Another Chris, great name. And Chris has been working on a map integration, amongst other things, with Webflow. So, oh yeah, we probably need the microphone. Very good. There you go. You're anointed. Yeah. Yeah. So take it away, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah. So those don't know me. I'm Chris. I'm a low-code developer. Basically, that means when you hit the limits of Webflow or whatever platform you're using, give me a call, and I make it work. So my day usually starts with a bunch of emails or messages that start with, I tried to make it with ChatGPT, and it doesn't work. But yeah, and then through that, partnering with designers and agencies, a request I kept getting over and over and over again was, can you build me Google Maps? Real estate developers, directories, people that wanted integrated on their site, but they didn't want it to look like Google Maps. So I built Epic Maps. And yes, Epic Maps is a dynamic, interactive, no-code map tool using Webflow CMS. And basically what that means is, again, dynamic, works with the CMS. So you set it up, you give it to your client, and they can run with it. Anytime they update something, it's reflected on the map. And it's all built with attributes. So if anyone's used FinSuite attributes, works exactly the same. I've tried to make it as close to their system as possible, just so it feels super familiar. And it also integrates with FinSuite attributes. So all of the filtering and the pagination, CMS load, all that kind of jazz, just works out of the box, and it's reflected on the map. And yeah, being interactive, again, built with the filters and pagination, and then it has an action system built into it, which means that you can, again, with attributes, set when a user hovers over an item, do this thing with the marker. When a user hovers over the marker, do a thing with the item, and vice versa. So this is sort of the demo I have running at the moment, and basically based off of Airbnb. So you have up in the top corner your little filters that are built with FinSuite. So this is sort of the thing you might see on a property developer's website. And you have your list over on the side. And then all of this is auto-generated from that list and a couple of attributes. So this one in particular, when you hover over a marker item, which are all generated from CMS data, then marker expands a little bit, and the listing pops up. So you can sort of like move around, have a play around with it. And then as you filter things, it's reflected on the map, and probably easier to show you. So this is the demo. And then as you hover over things, they pop up, and this is all generated from the CMS. Nice. And then all of this is the end just built with FinSuite. And these are all just categories that are assigned in the CMS. So again, anything you do with FinSuite, you can do with this. Reset it. And this was the first one I ever built. So this is Housing Budapest. So this is a student housing association in Budapest. And this was when I first started doing sort of low-code development. there's a guy, a student, I think this was one of his first projects, and his client wanted him to have this. No idea how to make it. So I found him on the Webflow forums. Unfortunately, he didn't pay me. But I've got two projects here, Housing Budapest and Aria Peachtree, both of which didn't pay me. So this was back just before COVID, and this was during COVID, so I could have used the money. But the guy from Housing Budapest then went above and beyond on the Webflow forums, and most of my clients for the rest of the year came from him recommending me for maps. This guy, on the other hand, you're fucked. So this, he builds sites for luxury developments over in Georgia. So when a film crew comes over, they usually rent out a whole place. And then this guy makes lots of money and doesn't pay anyone. But so these two projects were the first two projects that I built maps for. And yeah, very different outcomes, lots of different learning from the two. But what I basically got out of this was, didn't want to use Google Maps anymore because you couldn't make it not look like Google Maps. And every time I proposed that, client always turned around and said, especially this one, don't like that, can we change it? I want it to look like something else. And then funny story, he didn't pay me, so I turned it off. And he then hired someone else to build it again instead of paying me. And then I contacted that guy and he didn't pay him either. No. But yeah, so we don't like this guy. But we like all of these guys. So these are all people that have used, so version 1 of Epic Maps has been out for about 2 years. One thing I always mention is I was there first. There's a couple of alternatives that have come out since, but I then kind of really hit my stride with the rest of my work, and income from this was here. Income from everything else was here. So kind of left it in the background and then kept getting surprised. I would get notifications on my phone of, yeah, someone else has just signed up. Someone else has bought a year's license. And big shout out to the French Association of Wild Plant Harvesting Professionals, who were my first paying customer. So we love them. But yeah, so it's been used around the world for a variety of different things. We've got townhouse developments over in New Zealand. We got therapists in Canada. Yep, the French Association of Wild Plant Harvesting Professionals in France. Financial institutions use it for locating ATMs and branches. And yeah, a variety of other things. But version 1 had a lot of limitations. Everything was hard-coded. Everything required, they very quickly found the limits, as you do with any no-code tool. So I spent a lot of my time building custom solutions for other people, and then getting $10 a month from the license. So yeah, Epic Maps. So that's why I've built version 2. And so Epic Maps is built on, again, if you've used FinSuite, this kind of looks familiar. So these are attributes that you add to your elements in Webflow. So you have elements, options, and actions. Elements are just labels. So you have your Epic Map element equals map. Epic Map element equals list. And then you customize those with options. So you set the style of the map, you set the color of the markers and things like that and how they behave. And then actions are, again, as mentioned earlier, where you hover over an item, something happens with the marker. And so yeah, built version 2, which very quietly rolled out earlier today. But what really I wanted to do with it was simplify it and expand it. And I am, so when it comes to do my low-code work, I'm very particular about them not having to ring me up afterwards. I want to do it once, I want to do it well, and turn it into a tool that they can use in the future. Version 1 of Epic Maps was not that, and people kept ringing me up, asking for things, and generally being disappointed. So I wanted to simplify the build and make it as open-ended as possible so that if anything happens to me or I go do something else, you can keep using it. It has all of the, so it's built on Mapbox, and all of the options that you can use with Mapbox, you can use as an attribute in the designer, and that correlates over. It is infinitely expandable, so at every stage of the options and actions, you can plug in your own functions. So if you want to have something, so I'm working on a demo at the moment where it's an external function when it goes to get the options for the map, and it detects whether the user's browser, what time it is, where they are in the world. So it will adjust the map to be at their location, or at least a general sort of country. I don't want to be too creepy. But a general country and what time of day it is. So you can set the map to nighttime, dusk, morning. So you can set up very customized experiences. And the same with the actions, where you can plug in your own functions. So again, working on another demo with Josh Fry at the moment and his Rive animations. And as they are programmatic, you can have it where you hover over an item or a marker, and it plays one of the Rive state animations. But yeah, so very developer friendly, so you can keep expanding it as you go, and it is platform agnostic. I know what you all want to hear. It works with Framer. And that is a good thing because it's built for Webflow, but it works in Framer without me having to do any extra work, so they get to pay for the development. So we like that one. But yes, so we have this demo over here. I just want to run through quickly how to set this up. So you can't really see on that, but this top script here is just the FinSuite list attributes. And then this one here is the Epic Maps script. So all you have to do is add those two. And then you go in, add an attribute. You can't really see there, but just Epic Map element equals map. Sorted. And then over here, you have your list, and I've already added again, a little bit hard to see, the FinSuite list element. So exactly where you add that, you just add Epic Map element list. And then you'll see, so at the moment, you just have this empty box. Once it publishes, really hope this works. Whoa. You have your map and all your markers. Thank you. So in terms of the CMS itself, so this is running off of the properties demo, and the only thing that it needs for it to work is either an address, and it will work out what the longitude and latitude coordinates are, which is what the map needs, or you can add, if you want to be really specific, you can add the longitude and latitude coordinates. So as long as you have an address, then it will work. And then down in here, just have it hidden away, but we have inside each collection item, you have your marker element and your pop-up element. So you can build these however you want within Webflow, anything you do in Webflow, you can put into these markers and pop-ups. And all you then have to do is, same as we did before, just add epic map element equals marker. And epic map element equals pop-up. And then if I hide this again, choosing, and then publish it out, you'll see at the moment, so these are just the default markers and clicking on them, but there's no pop-up. So if you just have an address and your collection list, then you'll get all the items. And as long as FinSuite is set up on the same list, then it will just work out of the box. And since that's now, so now we have all of the CMS data being pulled in on the individual markers with their items, with their pop-ups. And then one thing you'll notice here is that the fact it's popping up behind it, it's because I think I've added the marker pop-up element on the wrong level. But basically they have, you can just set that with Z-index, and then one will appear on top of the, in the correct order. What was I going to do next? Oh yeah, so then you have your options. So as you'll see on the, when we load here, it's starting at longitude of 0 and 0. So it's starting in London and Greenwich. And then it has an auto-bounding feature. So whatever your markers are that you add onto it, it will automatically fit those within the map. But the map is loading at London and then moving to Portland, Oregon to make it all fit in. So you just jump back over to the map, and then you can add an option for epic map ling for longitude. I had these written down somewhere, but you would put in the longitude and latitude coordinates for Portland, Oregon, and then it would load with those.
That's the starting point.
Yes. So you've got everything working straight off the bat, and then you add your options to customize it. You can add basically anything you can do with Mapbox, you can then do with attributes in Webflow. Then if you want to add, so here on the list item, any options or actions you add apply to all items and all markers. First version did not do that, and it took me ages. But if you want to add an action, epic map click equals go to. And then, so all the actions are pre-built using sort of Mapbox's out-of-the-box options. Woo. But it just means when you click on one, it doesn't work. Cool. What did I do wrong?
Epic map click.
On click. So that's just how it differentiates between it being an action and it being an option. So this time, zooms in, and then it will center whichever item you click on.
Nice.
And then, yeah, rolled out the new version this morning, and I'm basically going to spend the next couple of weeks just building out a massive library of these actions and writing all the documentation for it, which I actually had this all finished about a month ago, and it's been writing documentation and the website and all the things that I am not good at. but yeah. Oh, so the only other thing is in terms of, so yeah, I've got a lovely website that took me far too long. Tells you everything you need to know about how to set it up. And then in regards to pricing, the client pays, you do not. So when you're ready to go live, you can use it for as long as you want. You have everything, there's no restrictions on the free version. You can set it up on a Webflow.io domain, get it working exactly how you want. And only when you want to go live, just ask either you or the client, and then you can add a domain, and then it just works. But yeah, I think I've rambled on long enough. So.
Thank you very much, Chris. Hey. Very good. Yeah, great to see it in action. Really smooth, and a step up from just your standard Google Map type integration. And I'm really keen to try it out. Before we take any questions, I've got a question about the pricing.
Yeah.
So that 100K, do you have a wholesale agreement with Mapbox, or do we have to get a Mapbox account as well as this?
Yes. So you get your own Mapbox account, and then that has its own. So this is in line with that. You get, I believe, 100,000 free page loads before you have to start paying. And then this covers all of my AWS.
Sure. Okay. So if you went over 100,000, then you'd need the 45 a month.
Yep.
Plus Mapbox's fees.
Yes.
Yeah.
So far, the most anyone's done in a month was 6,000.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds pretty good. Yeah. Questions? One down the back. We got our Webflow in-house extraordinaire Anthony with a question. You might need to shout.
Yeah. Hi. So yeah, just a quick one. Are you using ThinSuite attributes V1 or V2? And second question, do you plan on linking it to Google Maps, or are you just happy with how it is?
So the first question, it works with either V1 or V2 of ThinSuite. This is using V2. But yeah, it's backwards compatible. So if you have V1 ThinSuite on your site, it'll work exactly the same. And sorry, what was the second question?
Do you plan on getting it working with Google Maps, or just happy with how it is?
Not in the foreseeable future. What you can do with Mapbox is there's way too many limitations to be able to offer the same sort of product and the same offering. I know the other options, the other sort of Mapbox integrations do have Google Maps, but it generally means you then either have to split it into two or really limit the options across the board. And Mapbox seems to do everything.
So Mapbox good, Google Maps bad. Got it. Okay.
Just a super quick one, Chris. When you're testing it, can you test its functionality when you're in preview mode with custom code enabled, or do you have to publish to staging every time?
I haven't tried it. It should, because it's all just JS working on the front end, so it should work. Nope.
Interesting, because I noticed sometimes ThinSuite doesn't work inside preview mode even when you have custom code enabled. So
it's got security restrictions on the external scripts.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So no.
Cool, but that's a fairly new feature in Webflow, so maybe there'll be options added at some point. Yeah. We're coming up on time, but is there any last questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much, Chris. Really, really great. Oh, yeah. So we've got some giveaways, haven't we? How about that? Let's see. So these are courtesy of Webflow. They sent us some merch for our watch party last month, and we've got a Webflow branded bucket hat. That doesn't have the branding on the inside, so you can wear it inside out on the days that you're not having a good time with Webflow. Some stickers and some pens. So let's see. With some questions. So I got it wrong. It wasn't 3 design systems. It was 3 ingredients of a design system. Can anyone, now Liam's not really shouldn't answer this question, but what were the 3 ingredients? Anyone? Oh no, Liam, come on. We'll go here.
He can try, but
He's
yeah.
already got them.
Okay. It was collaboration, understanding, and iteration.
Is that right, Liam? Collaboration, understanding, iteration. Yes, excellent. Well, there you go, sir. Okay. So what's another? Oh, Google Maps or Mapbox, which is better? First one to answer. Hey. Oh, hang on, that was the wrong answer. There we go, Mapbox. Okay. Final one. Where are we going now? Hey, very good. Excellent. Nice one. Okay. So before we finish up, we've got a WhatsApp group that you can scan and join. It'd be great to have you guys back again, not just to sit there, but to join in as well. So if there's a project you'd like to present, then yeah, let us know. If there's any topic, life as a freelancer can be lonely at home. If you want to have a talk about, how to escape and mental health things, how to run your business, doesn't have to just be about Webflow, Figma things. The sky's the limit. Just hit us up, let us know. It'd be great to have you present. And it's a safe space. We're all friendly. It's not scary at all. People can vouch for that, I think. Yep. Right, and the next meetup. So this will be our final one for the year. We'll skip December. December's always a bit packed with Christmas parties and whatnot. So that's in 4 or 5 weeks, the 19th of November. Hope to see you all there. And yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for coming, everybody. So if the type we're going to is the fountain, I need to